Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawgz, and we back to it. You know how we do it. How good was Larry Bird actually? How great was Larry Bird? How phenomenal was Larry Bird? How spectacular was Larry Bird? That should be the title of this, not how good. But we gonna get into it, man. Before we do, make sure we subscribe to the channel. Well, not we, because I'm subscribed because it's my channel. You right there as watching, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video if you like it. Go ahead and write something in the comments. But most importantly, let's enjoy this video, man. Shout out to the Bird gang, shout out to the Celtic gang. It's been a minute since I did a Larry Bird video, and I'm actually surprised that I never did this video. I actually was searching it because I'm like, I know for a fact that there's a HenDawgz video out there reacting to how good was Larry Bird actually. And it wasn't. So I'm kind of behind the ball on this one, but hey, there's thousands of videos out here for me to react to, and I'm happy that there's still so many more that I haven't reacted to. So we're gonna get into this one. We're gonna see what this video talks about that we haven't already seen. I think it'll be actually cool to start like kind of reacting to videos again, but me bringing other people onto the channel. Like, I see that y'all really liked when my dad was on here. Like, y'all enjoyed those videos a lot. Unfortunately, he just went back to Ohio, so I can't react to no videos with him again. But I'm trying to get out there a little bit more, have him come out here a little bit more, because that's what it's all about, man. I had a lot of fun reacting to videos with my dad, and it's crazy because he's more of a football guy than a basketball guy. But let's get into this one. This one by myself, but we're gonna get into it. We got how good was Larry Bird actually? Let's get it.
Larry Bird was one of the best players to ever touch a basketball, and together with Magic Johnson, the biggest NBA star of the 80s. What made him so successful considering he was quite unathletic? And how would he fare in today's NBA? Did he win just because his teams were loaded? And where does he stand among the best shooters of all time? Watch the rest of the video to find out.
Shout out to Nonstop Sports.
French Lick. Bird was born into a poor family in French Lick, Indiana, a town of 2,000 inhabitants. Larry grew up a shy, introverted kid who didn't talk much, and he did most.
Hey, what y'all think about that Valley jersey right there? Shout out to Jersey Nation. Jersey Nation is a brand that I work with. You know, we do a lot of collaborations. We work together on a lot of cool stuff, and he always asks me kind of like, what jersey should we get to next? Like, what jersey should we do next? He actually just created my high school jersey. I'm gonna show y'all, man, because it's super dope. It's super dope. So yeah, he looked out for me, man. He looked out for me. Let me show y'all. Just ain't take out the package yet. This is my high school jersey right here. It got my name on it and everything. I was number 22. And the crazy thing about it is, so this upcoming season, they will be retiring my number. So nobody in the history of Start High School in Toledo, Ohio will be able to wear my 22. And Jersey Nation created me a jersey for it. So I think I'm going to give this jersey back to the high school so that they can put this in a frame or something so that they know what's going on. But shout out to Jersey Nation again for this. And I say that to say this. We always talk about what other jerseys we should get created. So what y'all think about a Larry Bird Valley jersey? I think that'd be crazy, and what I will do is, shout out to the Bird gang, I'll probably do a raffle. I'll do a raffle and, you know, try to get it to somebody that will really, really enjoy it. I'll probably get 2 of them because I need one too. But I would love to, you know, send a Valley jersey out to one of my loyal Bird gang fans.
He was talking on a basketball court. He grew up to 6'9" and played at small forward. But with his understanding of basketball,
6'9".
he could play whatever position he
I'd love to be
wanted.
6'9".
Larry finished his high school career as the best scorer in school's history, and he could choose where he wanted to go to college. He started playing for Bobby Knight at Indiana University, but didn't like the spotlight and being around so many people. He then settled at Indiana State University, where the pressure...
Before they skate past the Indiana to Indiana State year, y'all let me know. Why do y'all think Larry Bird transferred? Why did he leave this big, ginormous historic college to go to little old Indiana State. I mean, granted, it paid off. He ended up, he didn't win the national championship, but he went further than Indiana did and went and lost to, Magic Johnson in the national championship. But he took Indiana State to the national championship, so that paid off. But y'all let me know why y'all think he left that big old school for the small school. Let me know.
Pressure was much less than with the Hoosiers. Larry averaged 30.3 points, 13.3 rebounds,
30
and 4.6 assists in college. The Sycamores were invincible in Bird's senior year and became the #1 team in the country with a 33-win streak.
Wow.
Their only loss came in the 1979 NCAA Finals, where they played against Michigan State, led by senior guard Urban Johnson. Despite 19 points from Bird, Magic and his teammates celebrated the title in what was the most watched college basketball game in history
Ever.
at the time. Bird was named the Collegiate Player of the Year, leaving Indiana State as the 5th-ranked NCAA scorer of all time. He was already drafted, as the Boston Celtics selected him in the NBA draft in 1978, hoping that Bird, who qualified for the NBA as a junior, would skip his senior year. He opted to stay.
I know that was very great times back then. Like, I get it. I get why Magic Johnson and Larry Bird holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts. Because you got to think, 78, 79. Larry Bird's already drafted to Boston. So that's a crazy feat right there. Like, you're already drafted to a historic team that's already won all these championships with Bill Russell and everything. So he gets drafted to this historic franchise, but he still stays in college and goes 33-0 and averaging 30 and 13, like doing all this crazy stuff. And on the tail end of that, Magic Johnson right there with him. Like, Magic, they meet up in the national championship, which is the most watched game at that point. This is something super crazy too. Magic Johnson wins, beat Larry Bird. Then Magic gets drafted #1. Lakers ended up winning the championship that year. And then the next year, Boston win the championship. Like, that's so crazy to me, y'all. Like, I completely understand why so many people love Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
Stay in Indiana. And when he finally arrived in Boston, the Celtics looked nothing like their championship selves, with consecutive losing seasons. Bird then single-handedly caused the biggest turnaround ever seen in the NBA at the time.
See, like, all
Boston
that
improved their
is
record
crazy.
from the season before by 32 wins and finished with 61 wins and 21 losses. Although his arch-rival Magic Johnson had an impressive season and won the title with the Lakers, Bird was named the Rookie of the Year.
He got Rookie
with the
of the
average
Year?
of 21 points.
I gotta keep going. Like, yeah, he ended up winning Rookie of the Year. Like, it's so much that so many accomplishments that Magic and Larry Bird. I know this isn't about Magic, but I just feel like I have to talk about Magic when we're talking about Larry Bird too. But just all the accomplishments that they were doing at a young age, early on, like, just goes to show, man, how great of a player these two were. But shout out to the Magic gang and shout out to the Bird gang.
0.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. He also made the All-Star team
As a rookie.
and first-team All-NBA, and even finished 4th in the MVP voting, and proved he could transform a mediocre team into a great one, all by himself. A new green dynasty. After Bird's rookie year, the Celtics had a busy offseason. Legendary Red Auerbach worked his magic and brought 2 new faces to Boston that would form one of the biggest dynasties in NBA history. Auerbach robbed Golden State by sending them the 1st and 13th pick in the 1980 draft in exchange for center Robert Parrish,
The Chief!
3rd pick, which became Kevin McHale. Along with the newly formed Big Three, the Celtics also had an all-star point guard, Nate Tiny Archibald, young and athletic forwards.
And I always tell y'all, but it's going to be some people on here who's never watched any of my videos. Tiny Archibald, shout out to him. I had the opportunity to play him in Winning Time. Shout out to Winning Time, man. It changed my life forever. And episode 6 and 7, definitely episode 7. I can't really remember exactly how many episodes I was as far as Tiny, because I was in every episode, played 12 different people. But Tiny was one of my favorite times on set. And yeah, I played him in episode 7 alongside Sean Patrick Small, who played Larry Bird. And it was a super, super dope experience. So if you haven't checked out Winning Time and you're a Boston fan, go check out episode 7 and let me know if y'all see me playing Tiny Archibald.
Cedric Maxwell, and a few well-integrated role players that made the team complete. The head of the snake was, of course, Larry Bird, who was second in MVP voting, en route to a league-leading 62-20 record. The Celtics avenged the loss to the Sixers from the previous year, and after a tough 7-game series in the Eastern Finals, they were in the NBA Finals once again. There they would be met by the Houston Rockets, led by prime Moses Malone, who was arguably the best center in the league at the time. Malone averaged 23 and 16 in the series, but the Celtics were too good of a team and would win the title with 4 games to 2. Bird averaged 15 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists for the series.
He averaged the same amount of
Finals MVP.
That goes to show how great of a player he is, because I heard that he didn't shoot that well. But when you're a superstar and you don't shoot that well, or you're not playing that well offensively or whatever, you might be turning the ball over, whatever, you still can impact the game in other ways. And he averaged 15 rebounds. Like, that's crazy. Think about that for a second. 15 rebounds to average is crazy. Shout out to Larry Bird, man.
Went to Cedric Maxwell, who led the Celtics in scoring with 18 points
Cedric
per
Maxwell
game.
got Finals
And when
MVP.
everybody already saw the new Green Dynasty, 2 bad years ensued, despite Bird's all-around excellence and McHale's improvement. They once again were the #1 seed in the East. Bird was the All-Star Game MVP, but Philadelphia retaliated for a close defeat in the Eastern Finals. And this time, they won in 7 games. The year after, the Celtics regressed even more,
Who did Philly
finishing
beat
as
that
a
year?
3rd seed and getting swept in the 2nd round by the Milwaukee Bucks. After that, Coach Bill Fitch resigned and was replaced by Casey Jones, who won 8 titles in the Bill Russell era as a player. The change bore fruit. The team was refreshed with the young shooter Danny Ainge, and veteran point guard Dennis Johnson, and played the best basketball in the NBA, finishing with a 62-20 record. After 3 years of coming in second, Larry Bird finally won the regular season MVP with 24.2 points, 10.1 rebounds, and 6.6 assists on average.
He better have
The
won it that
Celtics
year.
steamrolled to the finals, where a known foe awaited. It was, of course, Magic and the Lakers. The title was decided in Game 7, where Larry Bird led the Celtics to their 15th NBA title. Bird was named the Finals MVP, and he finally had his revenge over Magic, who defeated him in the NCAA Finals of 1979. The following season, the Celtics were even better in the regular season. Bird repeated as MVP, and McHale repeated as the 6th man of the year. They got to the finals again,
McHale didn't even
the same
start.
opponent. After the Celtics won Game 1, 148-114, in a game that was dubbed the Memorial Day Massacre, it seemed like the Celtics were going to dominate the Lakers and repeat as champions. However, the Lakers had other plans, and especially Kareem was determined to defeat the Celtics. Kareem averaged 25.7 points, 9 rebounds, and 5.2 assists in 6 games.
Is Kareem the GOAT?
60% shooting.
Is Kareem the GOAT, y'all? I know, like I said, I know there's videos about Larry Bird, and I also know that majority of people say that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. But the more I get to asking people, the more I get to hearing that Kareem might be the GOAT. So y'all let me know in the comments, who is the greatest player of all time? Is it Jordan? Is it Larry Bird? Or is it Kareem? Let me know, man.
And the Lakers have finally won the NBA Finals against the Celtics for the first time in 9
Magic was
tries.
too happy.
1986, the greatest Celtics team ever in the pinnacle of
First
Bird's career.
win in 9
After the
tries.
finals loss, Auerbach made
crazy.
another clever move. He traded Cedric Maxwell to the Clippers for Bill Walton, once one of the most talented centers in the league, who accepted the role of a 6th man on the Celtics, while Kevin McHale moved to the starting lineup. The Celtics won 50 out of 51 home games that year, which is a record that still stands and likely will never be broken. Larry Bird experienced the absolute peak of his game and basketball brilliance in 85-86. He deservedly won another MVP and became the only player other than Wilt and Bill Russell to win the award in 3 straight seasons. The 85-86 season birthed several games that proved the endless basketball genius of Larry Bird, and most notable is the left-handed game. Before the game against Portland, Bird surprised his teammates and journalists by saying that he would shoot the whole game with his left hand hand.
That's
because he wanted to
wild.
motivate himself for a relatively meaningless regular season game. How much did he score? Just 47 points, 14 rebounds, 11 assists with a game-winning shot, and 22 points scored with his left hand out of sheer boredom and fun. And those are the reasons why he was called Larry Legend. Apart from that, he also scored a career-high 60 points on the Atlanta Hawks earlier in the season. Almost everything he put up toward the basket went in, and he got into such a zone that the Hawks bench jumped off their chairs and cheered, after which they received hefty penalties from the Hawks coach, Mike Fratello.
If I was Mike Fratello, them players is getting cut. I don't care if a player done scored 278 points on me. Y'all not about to be cheering for the other team. Like, that's crazy to me. I don't know who those players is. Do we have names of those players? If y'all do, let me know. Because I just can't respect that, man. I don't care how good of a player Larry Bird is. You can never be rooting for him and you're on the opposite team. That's crazy, man.
Throughout the game, the commentator noted that what he was watching was the biggest shooting exhibition in basketball history. And at the time,
I can do that after the game.
The Celtics won 67 games in the regular season and lost just one game in the playoffs on their way to the finals. There, they would be greeted by the Twin Towers of Houston, Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon, who defeated the Lakers in the West Finals. But nobody could touch the Celtics that season, who were one of the most talented teams ever assembled. Bird was 2 rebounds and 3 assists shy of averaging a triple-double in the finals, and he deservedly won his second Finals MVP. Final years, injuries, and the Dream Team. In 1987, the Celtics had a very difficult season. Their number 2 pick, Len Bias, tragically passed away after the draft, and they suffered many injuries.
That's super sad with Len Bias, but my question is, how was the Boston Celtics so good and was able to get the number 2 pick to get Len Bias? Like, I get it that it was a very unfortunate circumstance, but how did Boston even get in that running? How did they even get the opportunity to even get Len Bias? Like, did they trade somebody away to get that pick, or just how did that happen?
During the season and the playoffs. Larry Bird was too good, and they still advanced to the finals after 2 7-game series against the Bucks and the bad boy Pistons, where Bird made one of the most legendary plays and stole the inbounds pass from Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah choked.
Crucial Game 5 for the Celtics. And in the finals again, it was the Lakers for the 3rd time in 4 years. Because LA was much more rested coming to the finals, the Celtics did not have enough gas in the tank to stop the fast-paced showtime. Bird delivered another 24, 10, and 5 for the series, but it wasn't good enough, and Magic got the best of him once again. Next year, Bird had maybe one of the best statistical years of his career. He averaged 30 points on 50, 40, and 90 shooting, a feat he achieved the previous year as well, proving that he's the best shooter who ever played at the time. The Celtics reached the conference finals, but it would be their last hurrah as the Pistons finally got over the hump and managed to beat them. In the offseason, Bird sustained a severe...
Hold on, let me just stop that before. I'm going to rewind it a little bit so we can kind of see exactly what they was talking about. But shout out to Isaiah Thomas, man. Isaiah Thomas was drilled for, walking off the court of the whole Michael Jordan situation. But here, I don't know what was going on, but he was showing Kevin McHale mad love right here. So I just want to throw that out there. Like, we talk about him bad when he don't show love. So I'm going to point it out when he is showing love, man. Isaiah was showing a lot of love to Kevin McHale right here. So shout out to Isaiah Thomas.
Pistons finally got over the hump and managed to beat them. In the offseason, Bird sustained a severe back injury from chopping wood back home in Indiana. He was one of the best basketball players in the world, who had millions of dollars, but he was still the hick from French Lick, who chopped his own wood when he needed to, and I respect him even more for that. The back injury and surgery on both Achilles tendons caused him to miss almost the entire 88-89 season. However, even debilitated, Bird was better than most players in the league, and despite needing to stretch for more than 2 hours to be able to run, he was still very productive. He was named an All-Star each of the last 3 seasons, along with some memorable performances, like a game in the 1991 playoffs where he suffered a concussion, but then pulled a Willis Reed and came back to the game. Scored 17 points in the second half and won the series for the Celtics. Unfortunately, the toll on his body was getting too much to bear, and he ended his career in 1992 when he finally became teammates with his good friend Magic Johnson on the Dream Team. Bird flew off into the sunset with the gold in Barcelona, retiring as the best small forward and the best shooter to ever play. Legacy. Trash-talking god, top 10 player ever. One of the most famous Larry Bird trash-talking stories is from the 1986 three-point shooting contest when the legend walked into the locker room and asked all the other participants who's coming in second after him. Of course, he went on and swished near every three-pointer and won, all without taking his jacket off. Bird would win the three-point shooting competition the next 2 years as well, and before Reggie Miller came along, there was no argument who's the best shooter ever. On the 26th of December 1990, Indiana's Chuck the Rifleman Person said he's going bird hunting before the Celtics game. Bird replied that he got a Christmas present for him. And while Chuck was on the bench, Bird got the ball in the corner, just in front of the Pacers bench. He hit the jump shot, turned to Chuck, and said, "Merry effing Christmas." And that's who Larry Bird was, and how he talked. He was the ultimate competitor, and he had all the skills in the world to back it up. He'd tell players where he would get the ball, what he was going to do, and then do it. And there was nothing they could do to stop him. He accused the opposing team of putting a white guy to guard him because he felt that was disrespectful. And if you watch Space Jam, you know that Larry isn't white. He's clear. Bird would drink half the bar under the table. Sometimes he'd fight people in the bar as well, and then go to the game the next day and dominate.
What y'all think Larry Bird's beer of choice was? I think it was more Coors Light or Bud Light or something. I say Bud Light. That sounds like a Larry Bird type beer. But let me know. I'm sure he done said it before.
As if nothing happened. Bird was a unique player, and there was nobody like him. At first glance, his moves look almost clumsy, far from physically dominant or athletic. He rarely dunked. His vertical was average at best.
He dunked when he have to.
He never played exceptionally fast. From the neck down, in basketball terms, he was nothing special. From the neck up, until the end of his fingertips, he was pure genius. There's no doubt that he would be a great player in today's era, where we can see players like Doncic and Jokic dominate the game without great physical talent. Bird was one of the top 10 players who ever played, and one of the best pure shooters ever. He was the best player in the NBA for almost an entire decade, despite the brilliance from Magic and the athleticism of Michael Jordan. And like Magic Johnson said, there will never be another Larry Bird.
Great video. Ooh, them two good videos right there. Two, LeBron versus Luka, the ultimate comparison, and how good was Wizards Michael Jordan. I think I'm going to react to both of them, but I appreciate y'all for watching this one. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already. Make sure y'all like this video if y'all like this video. And go ahead and write something in the comments. Let me know. I got two questions for y'all before we end it. Where does Larry Bird rank all time? Like, is he top 5, top 10, top 1? And where does he rank as far as greatest shooters too? Like, because I know it's a little tough. It's so hard to really actually answer that question because he didn't shoot as many as Steph or Klay Thompson or these players that really rely a lot on three-point shooting. So there's no right or wrong answer, man. Like, I just want to hear y'all opinions, and it's always good to debate. But I appreciate y'all like always. We out.